Yo, what's up everyone, it's Vinod here and welcome back to the channel. If you're looking to dive into cross-platform app development, Flutter is where it's at. It's seriously powerful, super versatile, and Google's been pushing it hard. But before you can start building the next big thing, we gotta get your dev environment set up. We'll be installing everything you need from the Flutter SDK to Android Studio, and even touch on iOS setup for Mac users. So let's jump in and get this Flutter party started. Alright, before we download anything, let's make sure your system can handle Flutter. For Windows, you'll need 64-bit Windows 10 or later. On the Mac side, macOS Catalina or newer is ideal. 8 GB of RAM is a good baseline, but 16 GB will give you a smoother experience. Storage-wise, have at least 10 GB free. A decent multi-core CPU will make your life easier, especially when compiling apps. Once you've confirmed you've got the specs, let's move on to installing Flutter. Now comes the core of it all, installing the Flutter SDK. This is the foundation upon which all your Flutter applications will be built, so it's crucial to get it right. Head over to the official Flutter website and grab the latest stable release for your OS. The website is user-friendly and provides clear instructions for downloading the SDK. It's a zipped file. Once downloaded, unzip it. This might take a few moments depending on your system's speed, so be patient. I usually create a dedicated development folder in my root directory and put the unzipped Flutter folder there. This helps keep things organized and makes it easier to manage your projects. Next, we need to add Flutter to our system's path environment variable. This step is essential for your system to recognize Flutter commands from any directory. On Windows, hit the Start menu, type Environment Variables, and select Edit the System Environment Variables. This will open a new window where you can make the necessary changes. Click Environment Variables, then under System Variables, find the Path variable and click Edit. This is where you'll add the path to your Flutter bin folder. Hit New and paste in the path to your Flutter bin folder. Make sure there are no typos, as this can cause issues later on. On a Mac, open Terminal and type nano_.zrc and hit Enter. This will open the configuration file where you can add the Flutter path. Add this line to the end export path $path, path underscore to underscore your underscore Flutter, /bin replacing, path underscore to underscore your underscore Flutter, with your actual Flutter path. This ensures that the Flutter commands are available globally. Hit Ctrl+X to exit, then Y to save, and Enter to confirm. This will save your changes and close the editor. With that done, you've successfully installed the Flutter SDK. You can now start building amazing applications with Flutter. Now let's move on to setting up the necessary dependencies. These are additional tools and libraries that Flutter relies on to function correctly. This will ensure everything runs smoothly. Properly setting up these dependencies is crucial for a seamless development experience. Okay, we're making serious progress. Now Flutter needs a few friends to help it do its magic. First up, we need to install Android Studio. Head to the Android Studio website, download the installer, and run it. During installation, make sure you also install the Android SDK platform tools and the Android emulator. For Mac users, if you're planning to build iOS apps, you'll need Xcode. Download it for free from the Mac App Store. Once Xcode is installed, fire it up at least once to accept the license agreement. Install the iOS simulators by going to Xcode bar, Preferences, Components. This way you can test your Flutter apps on different iPhone and iPad emulators. With those dependencies taken care of, we're getting close to the finish line. Next, we'll verify our installation to make sure everything's set up correctly. Chapter 4. Flutter Doctor to the rescue, verifying your installation. Open up your terminal or command prompt and type in and hit Enter. Flutter Doctor will scan your system, checking for the Flutter SDK, Android Studio, Xcode if you're on Mac, and other dependencies. It'll let you know if anything's missing or misconfigured. You'll likely see some warnings or errors, and that's totally normal. Flutter Doctor is super helpful. It'll usually tell you exactly what you need to do to fix them. Just follow the instructions Flutter Doctor gives you, and run the command again. Keep doing this until you see those beautiful green check marks next to all the components. This step is crucial, so don't skip it. Chapter 5. Android Studio, your Flutter playground. Fire up Android Studio, and you'll see a welcome screen. Click on Configure at the bottom, and select Plugins. In the Plugins Marketplace, search for Flutter. Install the Flutter plugin, which usually comes bundled with the Dart plugin. Android Studio might need to restart after the installation. Once it's back up, verify the Flutter plugin by going to Start a new Flutter project. You should see the Flutter application option. Click on the AVD Manager icon to create a new virtual device. With your virtual device all set up, you're ready to start building and testing Flutter apps directly within Android Studio. Chapter 6. Mac users only unleashing Xcode for iOS development, optional. This chapter's for all my Mac users out there who want to build apps for iOS. Whether you're a seasoned developer or just starting out, Xcode is an essential tool in your arsenal. It's the integrated development environment or IDE that you'll use to create, test, and debug your iOS applications. If you're only focusing on Android, you can skip ahead. But if you're curious about expanding your skills to iOS, stick around. You might find it more interesting than you think. First, you need to tell Xcode that you want to use it for Flutter development. This involves setting up a few configurations to ensure everything runs smoothly. Open your terminal and type in a specific command to configure Xcode for Flutter. This command will link the necessary files and set up the environment for you. You'll be prompted for your Mac's password. This is a security measure to ensure that only authorized users can make these changes. Next, agree to Xcode's license agreement by simply opening Xcode. Accept the terms. This is a standard procedure that grants you the rights to use the software. Open Xcode and go to Xcode. Preferences, Components. This is where you'll manage the various tools and simulators that Xcode offers. Find the iOS simulator you want to use and click Download next to it. The simulator allows you to test your app in a virtual iOS environment. This might take a while depending on your internet speed. Be patient, it's worth the wait. Once the simulator is downloaded, you can launch it directly from Xcode or through the command line. This flexibility allows you to choose the method that best fits your workflow. To launch it from Xcode, go to Xcode, open Developer Tool. Simulator. This is the quickest way to get your virtual device up and running, and there you have it. You've successfully prepped Xcode for Flutter development. Now you can start building and testing your iOS apps with ease. You're now a dual-wielding, cross-platform app-building machine. With both Android and iOS development skills under your belt, the possibilities are endless. Happy coding! Chapter 7. Hello Flutter, running your first app. Open up Android Studio and click Start a new Flutter project. Choose Flutter application as the project type and hit Next. Give your project a name and choose a location to save it. Hit Finish, and let Android Studio work its magic. Once the project is created, you'll see the main.dart file open up. This is where the magic happens. You'll notice some pre-written code, which is a simple Flutter app that displays Hello World in the center of the screen. Make sure you have your emulator or device selected at the top of Android Studio. Click the play button to build and run your app. Once it's done, boom! Your first Flutter app will launch on the emulator or device you selected. Congrats! You've officially entered the world of Flutter development. Chapter 8. Leveling up, additional tips and tricks. And there you have it. You've successfully built your first Flutter app. This is a significant milestone, and you should be proud of what you've accomplished. But remember, this is just the beginning of your journey in the world of app development. But the journey doesn't stop there. There are always new challenges to tackle and new skills to learn. The more you explore, the more you'll realize how vast and exciting the field of app development truly is. The world of app development is all about continuous learning and improvement. It's important to stay curious and keep pushing your boundaries. Read books, take online courses, and never stop learning. Make it a habit to keep your Flutter SDK updated. Regular updates ensure that you have access to the latest features and improvements, which can make your development process smoother and more efficient. New releases come with performance improvements, new features, and bug fixes. Staying updated means you're always working with the best tools available. You can update Flutter using the command in your terminal or command prompt. It's a simple step that can save you a lot of headaches down the line. Remember our good friend Flutter Doctor? It's your go-to tool for troubleshooting any issues. If something seems off, just run Flutter Doctor and see what it says. It can diagnose a wide range of problems and offer solutions. If something seems off, just run and see what it says. This tool is invaluable for maintaining a healthy development environment. As you dive deeper into Flutter, you'll discover a vibrant and supportive community. Engaging with this community can provide you with insights, support, and inspiration. Don't be afraid to ask for help on forums, Stack Overflow, or the official Flutter Discord server. These platforms are filled with experienced developers who are more than willing to help you out. Experiment with different Flutter widgets, build small projects, and gradually challenge yourself with more complex applications. This hands-on experience is crucial for mastering Flutter. The more you code, the better you'll become. Practice is key to becoming proficient in any skill, and coding is no different. Keep pushing yourself, and you'll see continuous improvement. Outro, you did it. Now go build something awesome. You've successfully set up the Flutter environment on your Mac or Windows machine. Give yourself a pat on the back. That was a lot to cover, but you crushed it. Now go out there and build something amazing. I can't wait to see what you create. Peace out.